Hello and welcome to the virtual launch of the Morning Coffee Writing Competition 2021. I'm Carol. I founded the competition in 2020 as a fundraiser for the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre and for it to be something nice to come out of lockdown, and I'm so delighted that we're back in 2021. I'm so grateful to Sinead and Orla at Sonder for wanting to work with us again and for all of the amazing work that they put in to make such a wonderful and successful competition. So I have a few thank yous to go through before we begin. First of all, obviously Sinead and Orla, as I said, you're both amazing. It's wonderful to work with you. My sister Ella, who took on the social media this year and is responsible for the beautiful, beautiful Instagram. Kevin Power, our incredible guest judge, who picked the winning stories this year. We are so delighted to have you on board. Congrats again on the new book. Who else do we have? Obviously, I want to thank all of the participants, everyone who submitted, everyone who donated. We're so grateful. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much. And finally, the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre. The work you do is incredible, and you're also such an amazing pleasure to work with every single year. Every single time I'm in touch, you're just lovely, and we have so much respect for the work that you do. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to you for watching the launch, and hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. We're Sinead and Orla from Sonder magazine. For anyone unfamiliar, we are an Irish literary magazine publishing original works of short stories, flash fiction, creative non-fiction and poetry from emerging and experienced writers alike.
We were so excited when Carol asked us to come back on board for the Morning Coffee Writing Competition, raising funds for the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre. This centre offers support to anyone who's experienced sexual assault at any time.
Yet again, we were so impressed by the standard of submissions to this competition. It was really difficult to narrow down, and thankfully we had Kevin Power to pick the top 3 pieces, which we couldn't be happier with.
The top 3 pieces are now available to read on our website, and we will also be publishing the winning piece in issue 6, which will come out in autumn 2022. We are so excited for you all to read these pieces. They are unique, beautiful and emotional stories that resonate with us and the theme Sonder, as they each represent the extraordinariness of everyday life.
We recently published issue 5, which is full of haunting and original works from short stories to creative non-fiction. You can buy a copy from various independent bookshops across Ireland and also from our website.
Thank you again to Carol for introducing this competition, to Ella for her brilliant work in publicising the competition, to Kevin for his hard work and involvement, and to Kirsty, Annie and the team at the Rape Crisis Centre for all that they do. We'd also like to thank everyone who submitted and donated. You've made all the hard work worthwhile.
We will now hand you over to Kirsty from the Rape Crisis Centre. He was going to speak to you a little bit about the incredible and necessary work that they do. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Kirsty and I'm here from the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre. I just wanted to say I'm delighted to be with you for a second year, and I really want to start by repeating my thanks from last year. We're so proud that Sonder magazine has chosen the DRCC for yet another year as their charity partner. And from all of our staff and volunteers and from the survivors of sexual violence that we work with, we really can't thank you enough. And thanks to everyone who also entered the competition. Last year, I spoke to you about what we do at the centre, the therapy we offer, the counselling services, the court accompaniment and our advocacy work. Our mission continues, so we're all about preventing the harm and healing the trauma that is caused by sexual violence. Last year, I also spoke about the difficult circumstances that many of the survivors we work with found themselves in during lockdown. Very sadly, that has continued. We hoped it would be short-lived. 18 months later, many of them are still facing really difficult times. As always, if you or anyone you know has been affected by sexual violence, please contact our national 24-hour helpline on 1800 77 8888. The Dublin Rape Crisis Centre is there for survivors 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Whenever they need us, we're there for them. But we couldn't do this without funding in place. And that's why we're so pleased to be partnering with Sonder magazine and the coffee writing competition yet again. Thank you to everyone who entered the competition, and thank you for enabling us to do the work that we do. Hope you enjoy your celebrations today, and very good luck to the competition winner.
Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Power. It was my great pleasure and honor to read the stories shortlisted for this competition. I want to say a huge thank you to Sonder magazine and to Morning Coffee for giving me the chance to take some time off work and to read some really great fiction. It's the cliche everybody uses when they have to judge a competition and say it was incredibly difficult to pick a winner, but in this case it really, really was. The standard was exceptionally high, and it really was a great pleasure to read these pieces. So it's my job to announce the winners, which I will do in reverse order, starting with third place. Again, I want to say that it was extremely difficult to choose the best among these stories. They were all exceptionally well crafted, exceptionally intelligent, exceptionally moving in every way. So without further ado, please imagine a virtual drum roll if you can. I'm going to say that the story that comes in third place in the competition this year is Christine Foley's The Woman I Wanted to Be. Now, this is a story as a monologue about what it means to be a woman. It's not strictly narrative, but it has such eloquence and forward momentum that it doesn't, you hardly notice. It's about what it means to have a woman's body in a patriarchal society, to have to wax and pluck and diet and exercise in pursuit of unattainable and oppressive ideals. But it's also, in a more universal way, a story about what it means to grow and to change, about the things you lose and gain as you move through the decades of your life. It asks, or makes you ask, are we really the same person at each stage of our life, or do we become different people as we grow? And there's such great power and anger and compassion in this story. I thought it was a wonderful piece of writing. So the third place, once again, is The Woman I Wanted to Be by Christine Foley. Congratulations, Christine, and thank you for your story. In second place, another extraordinary story. This story puts us inside the mind of a man. We learn he is a widower, he is a father, and we infer very movingly as we read on that he is suffering from dementia. He tries to remember the name of a rainbow, but can only remember the Spanish translation, and that's what gives the story a wonderful title, Rain Arch by Green. Very brilliantly, this story inhabits the mind of a man suffering from dementia and works by indirection. It allows us to glimpse only indirectly the scope of what this man has lost. And you find a whole lost life is compressed into these very sparely written pages. It's an extraordinary piece of condensation, and it's also extraordinarily moving. So once again, Jessica Green's Rain Arch. Congratulations, Jessica, a wonderful story. But for first place, and again, it was very difficult to choose the best story. But to me, this story about what it means to be the parents of a 9-year-old girl suffering from autism spectrum disorder was absolutely precise and incredibly powerful and moving in the precision of its detail, in the empathy, the profundity of its empathy with its characters. So the story is called A Bit Odd, and it describes a young girl, Charlie, 9, who belongs among the stars in the story's great governing metaphor. She is invited to her first birthday party, age 9, and throws the parents into crisis. And we get a whole life told to us in this story, inner and outer. An absolutely wonderful piece of work. I think should be, I can't wait to read it in print. I think all these stories deserve publication. This story is really, truly exceptional. So the story, once again, is A Bit Odd by Claire Gleason. Congratulations, Claire, and thank you for a wonderful piece of work. And thank you to all the winners. So that is me. Congratulations to all. This was easily the most fun job I had to do today. So thank you all, and take care. Bye.
Hi, my name is Christine and my piece is called The Woman I Wanted to Be. So I wrote this piece during the second lockdown when I had a lot of time to write and to reflect, and I feel like it was really influenced by the birth of my niece and also watching my sister become a mother, and that has influenced quite a lot of my writing actually. So this particular piece starts out as quite a personal piece about an individual, and then it turns into something that is about women's experience on a whole, and that's really what I wanted to do with this piece. I wanted to discuss women's experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I really hope you enjoyed this piece, and thank you so much for listening.
Hi. I wrote the piece that became this story in a writing group where we were responding to prompts, and it was initially quite different. I think the prompt I had was a toy shaped like a rainbow, and at that point I was writing about the confusion that you can feel because of sleep deprivation, which was something I was familiar with from when my babies were little. And it was about the sort of brain fog you can feel when you're exhausted, and how your own train of thought can get away from you. And then I developed that piece and explored how that might feel if it wasn't, the temporary state from being tired, if that was in the mind of someone older. And I workshopped the story with other writers in the Irish Writers Centre, and looked at sort of how memory works and the senses. And so this narrator isn't based on an individual, but several of the things he does are based on real experiences of older people who are struggling with dementia. The story is called Rain Arch because he can't remember the word for rainbow, even though he can remember the sequence of colors in a rainbow and the facts about it. He, just the word, the name for it is getting away from him. And another aspect is that he keeps making cups of coffee because he doesn't remember that he's just done it. And so, that's something from true life, is repeating automatic tasks, and also just the inconsistent awareness that people can have of events where, people can remember something, be aware of it, and then not be aware of it anymore, not remember it anymore. So those are based on real things. I've tried to think myself into that mind and what it might feel like. So the narrator's in one room and in one space for the story. It's the kitchen of the house where he lived with his family for many years. So it's a familiar space with all these associations and memories. It's a room where so much of the living of this family happened. So there are these familiar things, like the picture of the rainbow that he's looking at, that brings back memories of his early relationship with his wife, and making coffee makes him think about fun that he had with his daughter as a little girl. So it's a space which is really familiar to him, and that's comforting, but it's also scary for him because he's lost in terms of events of when things are happening, and he's struggling to hold on to where he is in his life. So that's the kitchen setting is both of those things, the familiarity and the not remembering.
Worthy cause as the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre. It really is a great honour. This story is one that I wrote fairly quickly, which certainly isn't always the case, but this one seemed to come to me fairly fully formed. I suppose I'm at the stage of my own life where I'm negotiating children's birthday parties and play dates and all the social dynamics of having young kids. And I started to think about what that might be like in other families where maybe those things aren't always straightforward, and where something as innocuous as an invitation to a child's birthday party could be something new and maybe unsettling for the family. I think as parents, all we really want is for the world to love our children as much as we do, and to see them as special and as unique as we do. And of course the world doesn't, it can't, and that's okay. But I think that feeling of kind of sending your child off into the world, whether that's, dropping them to a birthday party when they're 8 or 9, or waving them off as they backpack across Europe. I think that combination of pride and fear and that desire just for the world to mind them when they're away from us, I think no matter who your child is, that feeling is pretty universal. The idea of space and the stars and planets is something I think that a lot of young children find really fascinating, and we find it fascinating too as adults, but also a bit overwhelming. I think we have an awareness of the vastness of distances and timescales involved that young children just don't have. And I suppose that reflects the central theme of the story, the idea of the adults being overwhelmed by something that the children might take in their stride. Although that wasn't something I was conscious of when I was writing it. But I suppose that's the beauty of fiction, that you can find something new in it every time you read, even when it's your own work. I really hope you enjoy the story, and thank you so much again for this lovely prize.
So that's it. Thank you so much again for attending our virtual announcement. Huge congratulations again to Christine, Jessica and Claire. Thanks to our anonymous donor who has donated the prize money for this year's book token first place prize. And thanks again to you for all of your support. It's really, really, really appreciated. Have a good night.